Far from mainland America lies a red, icy land, Alaska. Though this land is about 4,500 kilometers away from the U.S. mainland and has a sparse population, since 1906, it has produced over 15,000 kilograms of gold each year. Every year, the U.S. extracts over 150 million barrels of oil from here, and about 3.5 trillion cubic feet of natural gas comes from this same land. But here's the surprising part. This land was not always part of America. There was a time when this entire region was under Russian control. But then in 1867, Russia willingly sold all this land to the United States. And guess how much? 1 billion? 500 million? 200 million? No, only $7.2 million, and that's just 2 cents per acre. To put that in perspective for India, the land would be worth only 3 paise per square yard today. Now the question is why? Why would a powerful empire like Russia, at the height of its expansion, sell such a valuable land so cheaply? Was there a secret, a curse, or a conspiracy? Or is the real story something else? In today's video, we uncover that secret. So let's begin. It all began in the 18th century, during the reign of Peter the Great of Russia. He dreamed of expanding the Russian empire so wide that its roots would spread across the world. Even after Peter's death in 1725, his dream lived on. Under Empress Anna, Russia began expanding across the seas. In 1732, Russian explorers reached a vast snow-covered land. It was so immense they named it the Great Land, in Russian, Alaska. Over time, the pronunciation evolved to what we now call Alaska. When Russia surveyed Alaska, it found not gold or silver, but an abundance of animals. Sea otters, beavers, mink, foxes, lynx, even walruses filled the region. Since these animals' furs were rare and valuable globally, there was immense demand for fur-based clothing, shawls, jackets, coats, and more. Soon, Russian traders and craftsmen began migrating to Alaska in large numbers. They formed colonies, hunted animals, consumed their meat, and sold the fur for wealth. In 1799, the Russian-American Company was formed to regulate this trade. Instead of individual trading, the company handled buying and selling. Within years, about 700 Russians settled in Alaska. In 1821, Tsar Alexander declared that the North Pacific coast of North America now belonged to Russia. It was a bold move and but a risky time. By then, the United States had gained independence from Britain. America was angered by Russia's decree, which banned any non-Russian ship from coming within 185 kilometers of Alaska's coast. This hurt American trade and halted their economic expansion. Russia had two choices: cling to its claims and risk conflict, or act wisely and form friendships. Russia chose the latter. In 1824, a treaty between Russia and America was signed. Russia agreed to limit Alaska's borders and allowed American ships access to Russian ports. All seemed well, but over time, Alaska's Russian population grew to 2,500. Hunting increased, but animals began to vanish. By 1850, sea otters were nearly extinct, and with them, Alaska's primary source of income vanished too. The region's profitability declined, and worse, trouble was on the horizon. Russia had made enemies of nearly every major power: Britain, France, the Ottoman Empire, all eager to block Russian expansion. At one point, Russia attacked the weakening Ottoman Empire and captured present-day Romania. But France saw it as an attack on religious sites, and both countries became entangled in a Cold War. Finally, in 1856, the Treaty of Paris was signed. Russia accepted defeat, losing respect and money, and Alaska's fur industry continued its downfall. Russia now feared British Canada might attack Alaska, and they knew they couldn't win that war. There was only one solution: sell Alaska. And the buyer? The United States. In 1857-58, Russia proposed the sale to America. But the U.S. was internally divided, on the brink of civil war, so the deal stalled. Talks resumed in 1860, but America could only offer $5 million. In 1861, the Civil War began. Everything paused. Finally, at 4 a.m. on March 30th, 1867, the Treaty of Purchase was signed between Russia and America. Russia sold Alaska for just $7.2 million and roughly $129 million in today's money, just 2 cents per acre. At first, the American public mocked the decision, saying taxpayers' money was wasted on a frozen wasteland filled with polar bears. But fate soon flipped. In 1870, gold was discovered. In 1902, oil was found. From 1967 onward, natural gas production began. The land once considered worthless is now one of America's richest resource regions, and today Alaska is a vital pillar of the American economy. Before we go, a question. If you had $1 billion today, which country would you invest in and why? Let us know in the comments.